Hello, everybody. Welcome in. You guys can hear me, correct? I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can. Okay, all right. Can you hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear me. Good to see you here. April's in the house. Miss Barney's in the house. Pam's in the house. Good to go. All right. Thank you, April. Appreciate that. Awesome. Just let's give it a minute, see if anybody else. Obviously, we'll get some people come in. Yeah, today is just going to be an open chat. I'd like to talk about, I really like to talk about a lot of things that's going on in the world, but we just want to keep it to what we've been talking about because that's probably what we know best, is what we've, see where everybody else's opinions are and see where everybody else's thoughts on the different things that are happening in the cases that we're covering. The one thing that's crazy is that a lot of the cases we covering, we're still waiting on them toxology reports, and we're still waiting on the autopsies. You have Alina Moore from South Carolina or North Carolina. You have South Carolina. You have Johanna Root Shields from Carlsbad. We have the Tepe case. We have, oh God, just so many cases. You have now the Nolan Wells, case from Mississippi. The Mallory Kinney from North Carolina. There's just so much happening that, my Lord, everything is just waiting for that toxology report. Obviously, you can't forget the main one that probably what really sparked the interest in a lot of people was the Nancy Guthrie case. So there's so much we can cover, but I think we just need to go ahead and talk about the things that we know, the things that we have talked about. And the reason is because you guys could have found something. Remember, in this channel, everybody helps each other trying to understand the different nuances and what could have happened, what might have happened. And everybody's opinion matters. Everybody's opinion matters. You know why? Because you all matter. Everyone matters. And everybody has a voice. So that's where we're at, everybody. Welcome in. Virginia's in the house. Good to have you, Virginia. Carol, welcome in, Carol. Layla, good to have you. Hoorah. Let me see. Yes, Lindsey Graham. I just heard the news this morning when I woke up. And I do apologize I wasn't here yesterday, but I had a family reunion, as I told you guys, and man, that thing just kept going. I'll be able to share some pictures down the road. I just can't right now because honestly, I didn't take any, but because we had people there that was taking pictures, and they have posted them. I just haven't been able to download those pictures yet. So, but that's where I was at. All right, everybody, let's go. Let's get it. So let me read down the line. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Barney's in the house. Pam's in the house. April's in the house with a devil dap dog. You got Virginia's in the house. Layla's in the house. Marianne's in the house. Awesome. All right, let me start reading. Hey, dog, morning, and I can hear you. Awesome, Barney. Thank you. Good morning. Damn, can't believe you are here. Oh, Lord. Hello, everyone. Lindsey Graham has passed. Yeah, that was kind of a shocker. I don't think anybody anticipated that. It's probably the closest I'll get to talking about politics, but yeah, That's definitely, it was a shocker. 71 years old. It's pretty damn young. Um, didn't even know he had any type of issues going on. I think he had a heart attack or a cardiac arrest for the most part. Same difference. Um, so yeah, that was very newsworthy. Marianne says, missed you yesterday, but I figured you were having a good time. It was okay. It was a good time seeing family from everywhere, but it wasn't as big as it normally is. I mean, let me rephrase that. It was huge, but it was huge only because of all the grandkids and like my kids and everybody's kids together. You know what I mean? It was just that was huge. But as far as like the siblings, I mean, there was six, I believe, that were there of siblings, my siblings, and two didn't make it that were in Florida, and that's it. I mean, six, seven, eight. There was nine, so there was six there, and three that didn't make it. So yeah, I had to think awful hard. But yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of people, but it was mostly the grandkids and the nephews and nieces, and then their kids, and et cetera, et cetera. But enough about me. Let's get talking. So, anybody got any new information other than Lindsey Graham? I'm sure most of us seen that in the news this morning. Prayers to him and his family, for sure. Um, and hope they figure out exactly what it was. But it appears that it was a cardiac arrest and/or heart attack. So, with that, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Grands are great. Yes, they are. Their grandkids are awesome. They're amazing. They're the ones that carry the future. And that's why we have to make the future better for everyone. Barney says, back in the day, my family reunions made the newspaper. We didn't when we had 19 in my family siblings. We didn't have. We really never did reunions back in the day because there was too many of us, and everybody was scattered all over the United States. From Florida to Texas to Oregon, to Ohio, just Pennsylvania, you name it. Everybody was scattered. And, back then money wasn't like easy to come by. So trying to get everybody to come out would have been like, yeah, the only time everybody got together, unfortunately, was when somebody passed away. So I think the only time we had everybody together, if I'm not mistaken, is when my dad and when my mom passed away. Everybody, well, I say everybody but one showed up. So short of that, unfortunately, sometimes that's what it takes, I guess, to bring everybody together. Sad as it sounds. That is great. You all had a family reunion. Most families have stopped having them. Yeah, we've been doing them pretty often, and it's one of those things where you have such a big family at 19, right? Siblings, and then of course mom and dad's 21, and you have such a big family, and then your own kids, and then their kids, and man, it just like it's huge. It's huge. But anyway, we'll talk about that on another live. Um, Pam says that is great. Hello, hello. Perfectly Me is in the house. Good to have you, Perfectly Me. Thank you for being here. So let's talk about what we know. Have we heard anything new on the case with Nolan Wells from Mississippi? Let's start with that. Have we heard anything new on that? Now I'm hearing a lot of things, and you need to be careful because a lot of times you'll go on YouTube or you'll search something and it'll say, you know, information about this happened or the truth between the three boys that were with him and this and that. And a lot of it is just not true. If it doesn't sound, you know, legit, it's probably because it's not. So you got to be careful with all the tropes and all the AIs and people putting their own spin when in actuality, there's not really a whole lot. But if you do have some information, by all means, share it. This is an open chat about the cases we have covered. April, Marianne, I just text her. I missed Chris last night, but saw this morning. Bridget's in the house. Good to have you, Bridget. Haven't seen you the last couple of days. Good to have you, my friend. So the latest we go back to is the very interesting about Nolan Wells is there's so many different little takes and nuances. And I don't know, when I look at, I have a theory, always have a theory. When you're in law enforcement, you're thinking outside the box. And I do have a theory, and I do think it's very possible. And this is just my theory. It's my opinion. This is not factual at all. Is the idea that it very well could have been an accident that involved one or two or three of the boys that were with him. Nothing that was like nefarious. It was probably an accident. But at the time, because they were all drinking, maybe, just maybe, that contributed also to the effect of Nolan not being able to maybe stay afloat swimming. And yeah, and there's a reason I say that, because he was a swimmer. He could swim. So it wasn't like he didn't know how to swim. There's so many different, I'm sure, ideas out there. And for me, I'm thinking, when you go back and you look at the fact that his friends had his phone and his keys, right? We know that. Okay. We know that it wasn't the mom's sister. It was actually her friend, who was the mother of one of his best friends, named Javon Williams was his name. That was actually his best friend. He was African American as well, and he was there. But he came with another group. He originally was going to come with that group that Nolan was on, but four people were just enough. They didn't have any room, so he came with another group to the island. And it was his mom that actually, Nolan's mom called, and they tracked down the phone through 360 live 360, and then they went down there and she picked up the phone and brought it back to the mom, which would make sense because the mom probably was still dealing with a lot of the emotion and still dealing with the emotion of her son being gone, deceased. So my theory, and it's only a theory, that has nothing to do with any facts, and I can't stress that enough. So don't take what I'm saying as gospel, but it's very possible when you look at the fact that they had the phone and they had the keys. The keys is explained, they could have been left on the boat, okay? The boat that they were on when they came down, maybe not wanting to lose his keys. The phone's a little different. So we heard that there was a, quote, argument out there, and that Nolan was expected that he was the one asking the individual on that YouTube video that the police are looking at, and that the police said that they're still investigating because there's some things that are not making sense. And that is that he said, what are you doing? What are you doing on my phone? And then he said, give me my freaking phone back. And that was really the one they emphasized a lot, was him saying, give me my freaking phone back. Okay. So apparently there was something there that happened. Not sure who had the phone. But at the end of the day, when those kids came back, they had his phone. One of them had the phone. So I think if you think logically, you could say that because that was mentioned, that it's very possible that they did have the phone. So then the question becomes, well, how did they end up with the phone? Did it fall out of his pocket? Did someone throw it in the water? Did they find it later laying there? I don't know the answers, and I don't think none of us know just yet. However, my thought is the girl that he was talking to by the name of, God, I can't remember her name. They said her name, her first name. She had stated that Nolan told her that his friends were leaving and he had to leave because his friends were leaving back at about 4:30 p.m. And at that point, she said she told the cops, to my understanding, she told the cops that in the investigation that he took off to the boat and she saw him get on the boat. Okay, she saw him get on the boat. Well, I mean, it's one thing to say I saw him running at the boat. I saw him running towards the boat. But when apparently it was stated that she said, and once again, I could be wrong on this, but I think I heard it correctly, that she stated, the girl that he was talking to, that she saw him run to the boat and get on the boat. She saw him on the boat. So I don't know if that's, exactly. Yes, April, I did go ahead and get your email and I did watch it. Absolutely, I did. So I don't know. Chris is in the house. Good to have you, Chris. Oleg's in the house. Mary's in the house. Good to have you all. So I'm not sure exactly how it all pertained. So you have to ask the question outside the box. How did he end up in the water? That's the big question right there. How did he end up in the water? And it could have been an accident. And when I say an accident, I mean like they were all drinking. Maybe he came on the boat, and this is just pure speculation. This has nothing to do with facts. It is very possible that he came when he got on the boat and they started to leave. That question could have arose as, why in the hell did you have my phone? That type of thing. And there could have been a scuffle, if you will, on the pontoon boat where he could have fell over into the water, and maybe that is, and they couldn't really recover him because they were too intoxicated themselves, and at that point he could have ended up drowning. Yeah, it could have been an accident. I mean, I can't, short of something really, truly, honestly nefarious, I'm not sure what else could have been other than someone just unalived him because they didn't like him because he was talking to this girl. That's very possible. What do you all think? Tell me what you think about that. Does that make any sense? And once again, these are just thoughts. These are, none of this is a fact or none of this is proven. It's just thinking outside the box what could have happened. So let me hear your guys' opinion. Welcome, everyone. Remember to click the like button. Everybody, click that like, subscribe, and be a member. Be a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. Hi, DD, and all chatter says Oleg, Mary with the hearts. Marianne, hi, Oleg and Bridget. Oleg, hi, Marianne, April, DD. I did get it and I did watch it. Hello, Chris. Jaylene is in the house. Good to have you, Jaylene. Tell me what you think about what I just said, just to see, what is your thoughts? What could have happened? Let's just brainstorm and think outside the box. Jaylene's in the house. Good to have you. I'm good. How are you? Is dog's video froze? I don't think so. I see you guys. You guys hear me? Shouldn't be froze. Let me see. Can you hear me? Oleg says, still think the judge's son is the judge's son is important in this case. Yes, well said. Well said. Thank you, Jaylene. Thank you. Bridget, April. No, Miss Barney, go out and come back in. Go out, Miss Barney, and come back in, and you'll hear it'll should start right back up. Maybe the others were jealous because he had got the girl's attention. That's very possible. I mean, look, young kids like that, and he's young, 18 years old, they're very finicky, right? They're very touchy, and if others may have liked her, or maybe she had a boyfriend or something, that could have been something where they were, it was somebody was a little jealous or something. That's very, very possible. You know, it's like he got the girl and everybody else didn't. That type of thing. That's very well said and very good point. Um, yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you for bringing that up. And yeah, Oleg, I think the judge's son is important in the case because the judge is going. You would think the judge would say, "Son, you need to say the truth because if you had nothing to do with this, then you need to say what happened. And if you did have something to say, you better tell me what happened because we're going to figure this out one way or the other." Okay. Now, you have to also remember that that's on a level headed playing field. The problem is we don't know, what happened. And that it's different when it hits home when your kid is literally involved in something. You have to make a really, really tough decision. April says, Marianne, yes, it's fine. Virginia, May, the others were jealous. He got the girl. Ole, hi. Marianne, if your friend falls overboard, you ain't going to try and help him. Even if you are drinking, you are going to get help, in my opinion. True. Very true. That is a very good point. And I don't think I don't look, I'm not saying that his friends didn't help him because they didn't want to. What I'm saying is it's very possible that the friends didn't help because they were too intoxicated, as well as maybe the individual himself. And that's just an opinion for me. Susie Sunshine is in the house. Good to have you, Susie. So the idea that could have happened or would have happened or might have happened. Once again, we're just brainstorming, trying to think outside the box because that's what you do when you investigate. You talk to the people, you try to get information, and then try to make sense of what happened. We just can't talk to the individuals because we're not there. But yeah, good point, Marianne. Very good point. Susie, I get what you're saying, but I don't think they threw him a life jacket. I didn't think they threw him a, and that's possible. And maybe and once again, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I'm just trying to think outside the box. They're intoxicated. He brings up the fact of, why did you have my phone? Let's just say because they actually ended up with his phone. We just don't know how. So let's just say he said, why did you, not give me my phone? And then maybe they got into an argument or a scuffle and he went overboard by accident. Now maybe they're freaking out because they're like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Help, help, can't swim," that type of thing. And the reason he's saying that is because he can't remember how to swim because he's intoxicated, and that usually happens with people who have been drinking. Now, if that's the case, maybe they're not even thinking of a life jacket. Maybe there's not even one on the boat, that there's supposed to be one for enough people on every boat when you go on the waters. I know that for sure. That's standard that you have to have a life jacket for each individual per boat or per vessel or per um, in this case the pontoon. You would have to have one. You're supposed to have one, let's say. But maybe they either a didn't have one, or is it possible that they weren't thinking outside that box to throw him one? You know what I mean? Everybody's panicking. But that is a very good point. Very, very good point, Susie Sunshine. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Click that likes, everybody. Click that likes. Click the hearts. Click the emojis. Let's get that algorithm going, everybody. Bridget, I agree, Marianne. Virginia, if things aren't pure, the judge's son will be protected. Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone who's going to be protected, you would think it's going to be the judge's son. But let's just hope there's a lot more decency and common sense in figuring what really happened. You know what I mean? April, the friend keeping his keys and saying he didn't have them is suspicious to me. That's a good point because I thought of that as well, April. The dad goes to pick up the keys because a girl calls him who was at his house. I think it was at his house, and she saw his keys and she called the dad and said he had the keys. So the dad goes over to get the keys and knocks on the door and asks the kid if he can have it. Does he have his keys? And the kids apparently the kid said no, and so the dad said no, and he said no, I don't have them. And so the dad goes back, makes a call to the girl again, to the young girl who called him, and then tells him, the girl tells the dad, yes, they're on the council. I saw them. He's lying. So then the dad goes back, asks him again. And this is all, once again, a lot of this is not verified, but this is what's the chatter that's going on. And so the dad goes back, tells the kid, hey, check on top of your console. I was told that's where it's at. And then he goes back, he gets the keys, and it says, here you go, and gives him the keys. I don't know what else was said. I don't know if it was a hi, Mr. Wansley. How are you doing today? Sorry, this, that, the other, or had too much to drink. We don't really know where in the hell that's going. We really don't know. Right now, we're just trying to speculate what could have happened. We're eventually going to find out what exactly happened. I'm telling you, these kids are not going to keep quiet to save their own ass. And if an investigation is fairly done, they're going to know what happened. The idea is just trying to figure out, what could have happened. Paige, good morning, Paige, with the devil pups. But that's a very good point, April. Very good point. Marianne, are not 8. Miss Marianne or Barney says, I rebooted the computer, but now I don't hear anything. It's got to be something with the connection, Barney, because I think everybody else is hearing myself. Reboot my computer, but now I don't hear anything. Oh God. If you go out and come back in, it should work. It's usually what everybody says. Marianne, Paige, good morning. Jaylene, Paige, April, Paige, Marianne, it's good. It's good, Barney. Paige sent a $2. Thank you so much, Super Chat. Thank you so much for helping out the channel and for always supporting the channel, Paige. Appreciate you. Way to start us off. Thank you. Kentucky Girl is in the house. Hi, April. Kentucky Girl says, hi, Marianne. Thank you so much once again, Paige. Appreciate you always supporting the channel. Member for 2 months, Devil Pup Investigates. That is April. Awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much, April. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Awesome. Way to support and way to always support the channel. We are growing, everybody. Be a part of this. I'm telling you, we are growing because we got some great people in the house. Susie says, Barney, I had trouble too. I paused the video and hit play again. Maybe just something, try anything. Good to have you also. Thank you so much for being here, Kentucky Girl. So that's just a thought that maybe he confronted these kids, right? He confronted these kids. Welcome, Paige, Devil Pub. Good to have you as well. Welcome in. Another member in the house. Thank you so much, Paige. Appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting the channel. So it's just an opinion and a theory that because someone had the phone on that boat, it would almost be logical to think that maybe, I'm just saying a maybe because I don't know this to be fact, but maybe there was a little scuffle, if you will, that got out of hand on the boat and someone went overboard, and that could have been just a thought. We're going to know the truth here shortly, but it's just something to think outside the box. What do you all think about that? Tell me what you think, because I know there's a lot of opinions going on. Kentucky Girl, what do you think about that? What do you all think about it, everybody? Let's hear your thoughts. Barney, I figured it out. I trapped the little gremlins in and put them back in their pen. Awesome. Thank you, Barney. Great. You're back. Jaylene, laughing out loud, Barney. April, Pace, thank you. Susie, Miss Barney. Yay, Paige, Barney, I figured it out. The membership option too. Thank you so much, Paige. Appreciate you supporting. So tell me what your guys' theory is. Kentucky Girl, I know you and Whiskey the other day when we were on live, you guys had some good, you guys had a lot of knowledge on what was going on. Fill me in what your guys' takes on. Tell me what your opinions are as to what could have happened. Let's hear some thoughts. Let's brainstorm. I'm kind of on your page because how else did his body end up on the desolate part of the islands? Good point. It's a very good point, and that was brought up. I think they found him on the west end, correct? It was the west end of the lake. How else did he end up in this? Yeah, and the other thing that I heard as well to add to that, Kentucky, was that the other thing that I heard been mentioned was that when they went out searching, they couldn't find him right away. Even Cajun Navy couldn't find him. And then the very next day, the same area that they apparently searched, that's where he was at. Now they're saying maybe the current of the water, basically moved his body around per se, and that's why he wasn't saw. I don't know if I buy that, but I guess you have to look at everything validly. You know what I mean? So it is possible, but I know that was a something that was brought up as well. That why wasn't he found sooner when Cajun Navy was out there? Because they were helping in the search, to my understanding. Paige, I'm sad to see all those kids having fun, and the boy lost his life without a doubt. Paige, without a doubt. The young man had a good little future going for him. Seemed like a great kid. Parents had, he just seemed like that whole group seemed like a very good family. And that's hard to understand, to be honest. I think they dropped him off there to dump his body. And sadly, you know what, Kentucky, you may be right. I mean, they searched in that area, they didn't find anybody. And then all of a sudden, the very next day, they're going to find the body there. It's a very good point. It's very possible. And like I said, we don't know. We're just trying to brainstorm and trying to figure out ideas of what could have happened because we have a lot of little bits and pieces, just not anything solid. So to just think outside the box, that's important. But that's a very good point, Kentucky. Very good point. Marianne, the others getting lawyers makes it look like they know more than we know. You're exactly right. Listen, folks, when you lose someone in your family, and this is how I think logically, if you lose someone in your family and you just lost your son, okay, you want answers. You want answers at all costs. You want to know what happened, right? There's nothing short of what exactly happened. You want to know, okay? So I can see a family who lost their son getting an attorney or getting a lawyer to put pressure to give this information out. And let's not kid each other. This is Mississippi now. Okay, so I'm just saying it is what it is. However, when the three friends of his, for better lack of words, hurry up and get lawyered up, it's not the same as the victim, right? When the family gets a lawyer, they get in a lawyer because they want to know what happened. When the people that had his phone and the inconsistencies of the comments and having his keys and etc., you got to ask yourself why. Why did you lawyer up? Oh, they're going to try to blame me. Well, not if you didn't do anything. Not if there wasn't an accident. No one's going to blame me if it's an accident. You guys were all friends. So why go to the position of lowering up unless you feel like there was something that happened? There is a big difference between being a victim and getting an attorney to find out what happened, right? Or to go ahead and, as a person who could be considered a potential person of interest, maybe even a suspect, to hurry up and lawyer up. Why would you do that? Other than you want somebody to be able to give you that advice not to say anything or certain things and only say what they tell you to say. I mean, that's reality. That is reality. What you all think? Tell me what you guys think. Yeah, I had heard, Kentucky, that he could swim, that he had taken classes. I guess when he was in, I want to say junior high or something, he had taken classes. He knew how to swim. I'm not saying he was, Mark Spitz, Olympic swimmer, but I had read, and not just heard, but I read that early when he was younger, he could swim. But here's the thing, saying a person can swim because they took classes and then being intoxicated, possibly, and being in the water, that's a whole different ballgame, So that's the only part that kind of bothers me about that. But yeah, that's what I had heard and read. Marianne, the others getting lawyers makes me look like they know more than we know. And that's honestly, Marianne, that's the truth. That's what it appears. And it's like we say with the Nancy Guthrie case, right? We always go, it's always what it appears to be. We looked at Tommaso and we looked at a lot of the people within the family realm, in our opinion, because it just seemed like they were always out of sight, out of mind. Kind of like the same thing here. We're looking at, why would they do these things? These things that they're choosing to do by lowering up and by having the cell phone and having the keys to the car, and then someone being in an argument with them, which we don't know who he was arguing with about his phone. We just know they ended up with the phone. So it would almost make common sense that maybe one of them had the phone. You know what I mean? It's possible. Very possible. Good point. Someone will feel so guilty that they will tell what happened. I agree with that, Barney. I totally agree with that. 100%. They're not going to be able to keep quiet. I just don't buy that young kids these days can keep anything quiet, in my opinion. Bible, red, white, and blue hearts. Page, red, white, and blue hearts. Good to see you, Bible. Purple, good morning, Purple. Good to have you. Bridget, did they check his alcohol level? I think that's in the toxicology report. In the toxicology report, that's going to show exactly what was in his system. They haven't got that back yet. They did take one, and they also did an autopsy, but they're not releasing the information until the toxicology report comes back. So that's what everybody's waiting for. April, the girl said he got on the boat, so I tend to agree the body was dumped and he was unalive on the boat, in my opinion. It's very possible. Once again, these are all speculations because, we're just brainstorming. And that's a good point, April. And that's what I'm thinking probably happened. It could have been an accident gone wrong. It could have been something more than that. It could have been nefarious, but I'm only looking at the fact that they were apparently good friends or friends. So maybe something went wrong. He confronted them about having his phone. You know how that goes. Pushing, shoving on a pontoon boat is not the smartest thing to do. Standing up. Next thing you know, someone goes overboard and no one is reacting because they're intoxicated. It's very possible. Very good point. Kentucky Girl says, good question, Bridget. Yes, they did do a toxicology report, without a doubt. They did do one, but they're just waiting it back. Why they can't release the autopsy? Honestly, I think they want to see hand in hand where they go, because they could release the autopsy. I mean, the autopsy will tell you, did he have water in his lungs? Was it a drowning? Did he have any type of marks or scratches or maybe thumps, lumps on the head where he could have took a blow? Was he hit with something? Was he knocked out? It would say a lot, but I think, and this is just my opinion, I think they might want to see what was in his system and to what level of alcohol was in his system to see how they can wiggle around a lot of this stuff. Just my opinion. Purple, good morning. Bridget, did they check? April, Paige, deep south, without a doubt. I mean, we can't ignore that. I mean, that's a fact. Well said. That's a fact. Virginia, Kentucky girl, I'm with you. I'm thinking foul play until I learn and hear more. Very good point, Virginia. Very good point. Bridget, thank you, Kentucky girl. These parents are going to cover up for their kids. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I could see that happening. I could see them trying to literally try to do something like that without a doubt. But I'm here to tell you, this parents of this young man who went unalive, they're some good people. You can tell by when you hear them and you hear them talk, you can see he came from a good family. And this family is not going to let it rest. So I can tell you, whatever happened is going to come out one way or the other. Paige, I agree with Dog and everyone. Thank you, Paige. Good comment. Mary says no one has video of what happened. No one has any video of anything. That's why we're just trying to think outside the box of what could have happened. We're not. No one's saying that these is factual. The only video we know that they have is a video of him saying, what are you doing? And then him going and saying, give me my freaking phone back. Give me my freaking phone back. And that was on YouTube, where even the officers, what I read, stated that they did hear him say that. They're trying to just process all the information. That's why they were asking a lot of other people that were there and other boaters if they videoed it or recorded it to please contact the police department. April, his Snapchat and Instagram was deleted. Yes, it was. Apparently to his mom and his best friend's mother, when they were going through that, when they got the phone back, they said there was a lot of things on Snapchat and on his Instagram videos that were deleted. Not sure why, don't know what role that really plays, but that's what they said. Absolutely. Good point. April says, but that can be found by LE. Absolutely, because all that stuff is they can pull all that information. Even if it was deleted, they can pull it all back. So that's not going to go away just because they delete that. Or if somebody deleted it, they'll be able to pull all, and they will. They'll send it in, they'll contact Google, and they'll get all that information without a doubt. Mary, oh, okay, thanks, April. His friend didn't have video either. Sorry, I am newly into this. No problem, Mary. That's what we're all here doing, just trying to figure out what could have happened, thinking outside the box. None of this is factual as far as certain things that we're saying, ideas of what could have happened. Some things are facts of what they said. So, but just not the idea of how he became unalive. April, before or after he was found, did he delete or did someone else delete? Not sure that, Paige. Not sure that. I know you're asking April, but not sure if that. But I do remember reading that the mom and the best friend's mother, when they looked at it, and I know you're asking April, but The idea is that they did say that he did a lot of videos and Snapchats and whatnot, and everything was pretty much, or a lot of it was gone. Virginia just waiting an autopsy report. Yes. Kentucky Girl says, right, April, because Nolan's parents said he used Snapchat constantly and there were no videos. That is correct, 100%. Paige, Mary, don't be sorry because we are learning from each other. Trying to see where I left off. Bridget, I wonder if he had any marks on his body showing any physical assault. Someone could have hit him in the head. Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. I agree with that, and that's why you would think that if they had literally a autopsy, they could see if there was any bruises, marks, scratches, any type of trauma hits they would be able to say. So I'm not sure why they have to wait for the toxicology report, but maybe that's something Mississippi does. I don't know. Very good question, though, Bridget. Paige Didi will explain better than me. We discussed it yesterday. I think it was after when they found the phone, but not sure who deleted it. Well said, April. Well said. Barney, I'm curious what route did the boat take to leave the island? Which way was the water current going at the time? It's a good point, Barney. That's a very good point. Could answer a lot of questions there too. You know, very good point. Paige, at least the family isn't standing on scorched earth or having embers of hope of their son perished in nature. Well said, Paige. Well said. Pam, most people will not go under without taking others down with them. So someone will talk, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Pam. Good point. Susie, what state did this happen? Mississippi. Out there at the Gulf on, I think it was Horn Island, Horn Island. Maybe extreme heat could have also been a factor. It's possible. It's possible at this point. We just don't know. Just trying to put pieces together. Virginia, Mary, each case, us always different. Not to stress, without a doubt. Hey, maybe his family will go into hiding. Who knows? I mean, it's possible. I don't think they're the hiding type. I think they're going to want to know what the hell happened. You know what I mean? Maybe his family, I'm being sorry. Oh, got you. Sorry. Marianne, April, in my opinion, they already talk why they lawyered up. Absolutely. Well said, April. Because if you're gonna not say nothing, yes, they're gonna definitely lawyer it up, and they did lawyer it up already. So that kind of seems to always send that usually sends law enforcement into a point of why, because that's the first question you ask is why, right? It's like if it was an accident, just say it was an accident, and we go from there. You know, so yeah, that's a very good point, without a doubt. Gene, Didi, Mods, and Chad, good morning. Good to have you, Gene. Thank you for being here. Marianne, hi, Gene. April, hello, Gene. Susie Sunshine, Marianne, thank you. Marianne, very welcome. So for me, that's what I could see could have happened. They went ahead. That's the only other thing I could think of. If he did get on the boat, because the girl he was talking to said I watched him go, he ran to the boat and I watched him get on the boat. It's just that simple, you know. That's why I say what I'm saying as an opinion. Granny Jackie's in the house. Good morning, everyone. I've been MIA because my grandkids flew out from California to visit in Colorado for a week. They just left last night and grandma is tired. It's going to take me a week to recover. You got it, Granny. Welcome in. Welcome in. Virginia, Pam, yes, absolutely. It only takes one to get to the others, without a doubt. Marianne, hello, Granny. Yeah, without a doubt. And the other gentleman, it was interesting because there was another friend of his that was going to come with them, but because they didn't have any room, he went with another group of friends out there, and he was one of his closest friends, which was Jay. Let me see what his name was. Javon Williams, and he was asked by TMZ, and he confirmed there was an argument. He confirmed it had to do with his phone. To my understanding, he did say he was there. Uh, he didn't when TMZ had asked him if they thought this was racial, and he said he wasn't going to answer that question, but then went ahead and answered it anyway. After a couple times, he answered saying that it was expected. If you were African American, you would have white friends, even in Jackson, Mississippi. So I mean, he didn't go that direction. He just said, basically that's how it was back there. Everybody understood it, you know. So he had a really good interesting conversation, but it wasn't really in depth as to what could have happened or what would have happened or what did happen. It was more his response was more acknowledging what took place, but now how the fatal incident happened where he became unalive, I guess is the best way to put it. Virginia, Pam, yes, absolutely. It only takes one. Marianne, hello there. Hello, Granny. April, good morning. April, good to see you, Granny. I get that. My 2 year old great granddaughter is here every day, laughing out loud. Barney, dog, see my note above. You got it, Mary, Barney. Just thinking out loud. Usually, dental records aren't needed for ID unless there is severe facial damage. Thank you, Barney. Appreciate that. And that's a very damn good point. Look, everybody, he was in the water for about, I would say, I don't know, I'm just guessing 2 days, less than 2 days. If the water is a little bit cooler, no matter what, it's going to have a little bit more preservation on the body. The decay is not going to be as fast, right? If he's in the water. So the idea that they had to use dental records to identify this individual, Nolan, rather than just looking at him with maybe comparing it to a picture, tells me, was there something, like, did he have some cuts and bruises and lacerations? Was he beaten? Was he in a physical fight that he was, you know you could not see what he looked like originally? So you're right, Barney. That's a very damn good point, because when you use dental records, it's usually because there's that you can't make sense of who it is, right? I mean, that's just common sense, but it's kind of interesting that they would do that. Now, maybe they're used to using dental records in Jackson, Mississippi, and that's why they just do dental records. Period. It's possible. Maybe that's their protocol. It's just not normal because that's not something you would do after something that just happened. Without a doubt, everybody, without a doubt. Gene, since all are underage, there's absolutely no way no one saw what happened. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Well said, Paige. Gene, since they are all under the age, without a doubt. Good point. Good point. Gene, their parents are going to protect them all at all costs. Yeah, without a doubt. Gene, Paige, I do understand that. It's horrible situation, without a doubt. I mean, look, the loss of life of an 18-year-old speaks volume. That's a young man. That's a life. That's a son. You know, that's a sibling, a brother and or a sister. Related, because I think they had more kids. Not sure, but I think they said they had more kids. two other kids. So it's just the idea that, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because there's so much unknown, literally. It will come out. I can assure you it's going to come out. And if it's not, you're going to hear people coming out literally speaking up about why this information is not being released. April, please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. Bridget, they could be just making sure it release him with the dental records. No, that's very possible, Bridget. I mean, that's a very good point too. Maybe that's their protocol. Maybe that's what they do in Mississippi. Maybe that's what they've always done in Mississippi. They do check dental records because of maybe cases that have gone different ways because they thought it was somebody when it wasn't. That's very possible. Departments can set their own standard. It's just not something that we see all the time with the department. Susie Crab, something just came up. Need to jump out. Great stream. Catch you all later. Thank you for being so welcoming. You got it, Susie Sunshine. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. April, always great opinions and questions here. Share the stream on other channels, everybody. Let's make that happen. Well said, April. Pam, with him underage, wonder who bought the liquor. Here in the South, you have to be 21 to buy or drink liquor. See, that's another thing too. And that's a big one because this could fall on shoulders of whoever provided that liquor, especially if they can somehow show how that contributed to his unaliving, and it's going to depend on how much alcohol he had in his system, and if they can pin down exactly who bought it. That's going to be very interesting, without a doubt. Without a doubt, that's a really good point. Carol with the Amazon wish list. There's the Amazon wish list. Oleg, did he fall off the boat and go under? If that will mess with the face, if you get what I mean. It's possible, Oleg. I don't know if he fell or not. That was just an opinion that it is possible scenario that they got into a scuffle after once he got to the boat because the girl did say she saw him get on the boat, and I could see him saying to one of them or all of them, "Why were you guys looking at my phone? You know, why did you take my phone?" That type of thing, and then an argument ensued, and he just happened to go overboard by accident or by push or whatever the case may be. That's a very good point, and that could be exactly what happened. In my opinion, I don't think he necessarily fell in the water. Although I don't know, maybe he could have. Maybe they just panicked. Carol, there's the Venmo. If you want to support the channel, everybody, there is that. If you want to buy somebody a membership, there is that. There's many ways to help out. Spread the word. That's the best way, is to spread the word. Pass it on. Pass the channel on other streams that you watch. That's the best way you can help. But if you do want to help support to get the things that we need, by all means, you can do that as well. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. Bridget, whoever supplied the alcohol for an underage minor should be in trouble or punished in some way too. In my opinion, absolutely, Bridget. I agree with that 100%. Paige, Oleg, great observation. Without a doubt. Pam, great observation, says Paige. I agree with Bridget 100%. Barney says, as well as who sold them the liquor, or did someone snag parents' stash? Very true. Very, very true. There's going to be a lot of interesting takes from now in the next, probably in this next week. We're going to hear quite a bit. And it's going to be interesting to see where this all falls and where this all, comes out to play, because it's a very, very it's a very interesting case, and the law enforcement, I do believe, is going to find out exactly what happened. For the phone to be taken is obvious something on the phone that includes something about the people he was with. They didn't want it seen. That's very possible. Could have been something that happened to a young lady. Could have been something that he recorded about someone doing something with someone or taking advantage of someone. Happens a lot at these type. Happens a lot where maybe a group of people, a group of guys, young kids could end up, hurting someone, another female or something, and then he catches it, and they're like, "Oh no, this is gonna." Yeah, it's very possible, no doubt about it. Really good point. I agree 100%. Says Pam. Paige, thank you, Paige. Hopefully, it will be solved soon, without a doubt. Bridget, thank you, Pam. April, the body was found near the island that he left, but the girl saw him on the boat. In my opinion, he was unalived on the boat and returned. He was unalive on the boat and returned maybe to set up the girl just in a pin. It's very possible. And that's the whole thing about, getting these ideas and theories, you kind of look at everything and you see what really makes sense. And you all have some really great points. I mean, there's a lot of there. The idea is that it is so literally so wide open, and that's why that the toxicology report and um, the autopsy is very crucial because they're going to show exactly what made him alive. Was it, something that possibly a drowning, or was it something that dealt with some, trauma struck to the head, or he was knocked out, with an oar paddle or something. You just never know. It could be a lot of things. But that's the whole point of trying to figure it out is you're just having a lot of information out there trying to decipher. None of us knows exactly what happened because obviously none of us was there, but I think it's going to be shown. Someone's going to leak this out, especially we haven't even talked about a reward. I guarantee you if there's a big reward, they're going to find out what happened pretty damn quick, in my opinion. Click that likes, everybody. Subscribe. Be a member if you're watching. Subscribe to the channel. Be a Devil Pup investigator. Here, everybody's opinion matters because you all matter, everybody. So come on in. So right now, the discussion is just trying to think outside the box. What could have happened? What might have happened to this young man, Nolan Xavier? What could have happened to Nolan Xavier Wells? Barney, even if Nolan had been drinking, he didn't deserve to become unalive. Without a doubt, Barney, that's well said. Without a doubt. Yes. No one deserves this. No one. You know, this kid had a really good future, had his sights on, was at a junior college, playing football. I mean, this kid he had a lot going for him. And for all that to be taken away, stripped away from him, possibly for something so stupid. Yeah, there's no question. No one deserves that type to go out of life like that. Well said, Barney. Click that like, everybody. So that was my thought, and I thought about this yesterday coming home from the reunion, my family reunion. I was trying to think of what could have happened in here, and that's just what I came up with. It made sense from a law enforcement perspective. You know, they would have to have had the phone, which they did. They would have had to have some given him a reason to get mad at them, which obviously there was. So I mean, and when you factor the telling the dad they didn't have the keys when they did, and when the young man, I think the mother said his name was Warren, who called her at about 11:30, 11:30, and asked her if her son had come back yet. Okay, that's when she started getting suspicious, like something could be wrong. But he never mentioned anything about someone having the phone or the car keys. Hey Mrs. Wansley, just want to let you know. Do you know if Nolan came home yet? Is Nolan home yet? Well, no, he was with you guys. Okay, well, just want to let you know his keys and his phone. We have it. He forgot his phone on the boat or whatever the case may be. We have his phone and his keys. If you want to pick them up anytime, you know what I mean, something like that. But nothing was said to her. Now, did he know that someone else had the phone and the keys? I don't know. But I would think that if they were going back and they all came together and they were going back minus one, they would be talking about, man, I can't believe he didn't come back with us, that type of thing. I could see that topic of conversation being had if he didn't go with them. But the girl said she saw him get on the boat. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Virginia, were there other guys, football players? If so, what did their futures look like? I believe his friend uh, Jalen Williams said when asked by TMZ that he was the only football player that was with that group, those three individuals and himself, and he was the only one that played football in college. Hey, so sad. My money is on the judge's son being involved. Very possible. Very, very possible. Like, hey, nice shirt, dog. Let me see if I can turn around. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's really nice. I really liked it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. She gave it to me at the reunion. She said, "Hey, I saw this, and I thought, hey, this definitely is for my brother." So she went ahead and got it for me. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I think so too, Virginia. I think there was some jealousy going on over there. I really do. I think that they and it will be. It was said earlier today. In the live. Thank you, Pam. Appreciate that. Very nice. Thank you, April. I think that that very well could have been literally that. He was talking to this young lady and he got her attention and she got his attention and maybe that made other people kind of frustrated. There's so many things that can stem from that. You know, um, yeah, it's a very good point, without a doubt. Thank you, April. Very nice. So the only other thing I could see happening is maybe the girl who was now. This is not a stretch, but this is something. Maybe the girl. See, I don't want to really put anything more than that because this really does seem to fit the pattern. Because they had his phone, and in this day and age, there's very rare you'll find an 18-year-old that doesn't have his phone with them at all times. I mean, that's their lifeline. You know, everything else is not as important as their phone. Their phone is the communication to the world. So that's not normal that he would not have his phone and be okay with it that somebody else had his phone. It's probably why he was had an argument with whoever had his phone saying, "Give me my freaking phone back. What are you doing? Give me my freaking phone back." So it's very possible, very very possible that makes a lot of sense to me. But it could have been a million things that could have happened. In all honesty, Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, April. KB, all gave some gave all. You darn right. Amen. Semper Fi, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Virginia, put it out there, DD. You are asking us to just do it. Absolutely. Absolutely, Virginia. Appreciate that. Thank you. Well said. Paige, I bet if other kids had the phone, they were if other kids had his phone, then they're the ones who deleted his stuff. Maybe that's a very good point, and I think you may be right. I think that maybe there was something that he had on his phone that for whatever reasons they didn't like, and it could have been pictures of the girl he was talking to. It could have been, it could have been a lot of different things. Could have been nefarious things that happened on that island during that time, and they were going to make sure that it was not going to be ever released to anybody. It's very possible. Very possible. That's a good point. It says Barney says, "Dog, see above." Okay, okay. How did I skip you, Barney? Sorry about that. Perhaps there was a disagreement on the boat. Nolan was pushed overboard and hit the boat mode. I've said, that there probably wasn't an argument, and I thought it may and could be about the phone. Why did they have his phone? And someone said, hey, why don't you just, if you don't like it here or this, that, and the other, why don't you just, swim back? Maybe they got into an altercation and he was accidentally pushed off the boat into the water and couldn't swim because he was intoxicated. That does happen, everybody. Uh, yeah, well said, Barney. Sorry about that, missing that. It's twice. Jim, good morning, DD and Chad. Jim is in the house. Good to have you, Jim. Paige, good morning, Jim. Pam, we got to get our youth back. Too many are dying, and it isn't because of the health problems. It is so sad. Without a doubt, well said, Pam. Well said. Semper Fi, everybody. Appreciate you all supporting the channel. If you are watching, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, become a member. Be a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. Marianne, good morning, Jim. Paige, sad, Jim. Good morning, Paige. KB, probably big altercation on the island to the point they decided to leave and the argument continued aboard. That's a very good possibility, KB. Well said. That's a very good possibility. They decided, yeah, we're going back. They all went back. The girl saw him get on the boat and they went back and it continued the escalation. Absolutely. That is a very good point. It's very possible. Very, very possible. Thank you for joining us, Jim, says Barney. Jim, good morning, Marianne. Jim, Miss Barney, Virginia, Jim, Barney. Hence, facial injuries beyond positive ID. Yeah, that's the only thing that's really troubling for me. That's not the only thing, but that's one of the things that's very troubling for me is the fact that why would you have to literally do dental records for recognition when he was only in the water, supposedly in the water, for approximately less than 2 days? I just don't see how that's possible, but maybe that's how they roll, I guess. Bridget, could have been a picture of a video of someone they didn't want him to have. Why would you want someone else's phone? Right. What really bothers me is that also, why won't you have a password or a passcode on your phone so that no one could get into it and use it to make phone calls, right? That just doesn't seem like that doesn't seem happen. But then again, that may be how he treated everybody. He trusted a lot of people, and he definitely probably trusted his mom and dad that they wouldn't go into his phone. So it is possible. Jim, hi, Virginia. Paige, hopefully this is easy solved in a timely manner. Prayers, without a doubt. That's a good point. And I think it should be because I think there's enough footage. And when they start going and looking at all the boats, if they do their job right, being they, law enforcement, and they go looking at all those boats and start to identify people, they'll be able to make contact with those people. They'll be able to find out who was recording and who did what, and somebody will come forward. And if you dangle even if you dangle a reward, I almost guarantee you'll see somebody come forward. April, curious where the girl was when this happened. She would have seen it unless they took off right away somewhere else. That's where his body was found. That's very possible. I read somewhere that somebody had mentioned maybe the dad of this girl did not like her talking to him. I mean, that's I mean, you can see where that would go, but that was something that I read that what if it was something to do with that nature? I don't like to think like that, but then again, I also know you're in Mississippi, and it is very possible. So the theory is a possibility. I just hate going there without a doubt for obvious reasons. Pay says the family deserves to know the truth without a doubt. No matter what, they deserve to know the truth. Curious where the girl was when this happened. She would have seen everything. Paige, everyone has excellent points in here, without a doubt. It's been really amazing thinking outside the box. All opinions are great. Paige, everyone has excellent opinions. Paige, there is a lot of eyewitnesses. There was a lot of people there, without a doubt. A lot of people, and that's probably what they're going to do is start picking that apart. If in fact, this department in Jackson, Mississippi, will actually do that, without a doubt. Jim says anything is possible this day and time, without a doubt. Well said. Paige, I've been touching grass and catching up on housework since DC's hearing. Please excuse my topic and sorry I couldn't help it. No, you're fine. You're fine. Everything you said has been good, spot on. April, the girl is telling the parents her story, but I don't know if believable in my opinion. Yeah, I don't either. Maybe she's protecting somebody, maybe she's protecting somebody that got into an altercation with Nolan. That's very possible. I mean, we don't know, but it's not that far to think outside the box because it does make sense. Marianne, if there were three other guys on the boat and there was a disagreement between Nolan, one of them, why would one of them step before it got out of hand? Well, I mean, good point. Um, I think it probably was just two individuals who had a disagreement, and before you knew it, he was overboard, and the other ones were just watching in disbelief and realizing what is happening until they didn't see him no more. It's very possible. I don't know, but these are very good thinking outside the box, no doubt about it. Marianne, if there's three other guys on the boat and they were a disagreement between Nolan and them, why wouldn't one of them step in to stop? That's the big question. Maybe some were intimidated. Maybe some didn't want to get involved. Maybe, yeah, it's so possible that makes a lot of sense, without a doubt. Marianne, if there was Virginia, agree, Jim, anything. Hey, even put myself in the most dangerous situations imaginable, and I'm so grateful to be alive. Well said, Paige. Well said. So there's a lot of talking. ideas to really pull. Has anybody heard anything other than this? Has anybody heard an idea of maybe a parent, a dad, uh, that was of the girl? Did anybody hear anything other than what we talked about that this could have happened that way? What say you? Click that like and subscribe, everybody. If you want to help the channel get some memberships for some of the channel members who are just subscribers but are not members yet. If you want to contribute that way or contribute in the fact of helping the channel out, whatever, just pass the word. Go ahead and pass it on your other streams. Click the likes and emojis. Get the algorithms going, everybody. So that's really interesting. The same girl told the dad about the keys in another guy's house. They had to know her. True. Makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense, April, without a doubt. That makes a lot of sense. April, his mother said that girl was there in an interview. Yeah, that's going to be probably the biggest mouthpiece, the biggest person talking for Nolan, without a doubt. That speaks volume. Hey, this is where I get my information, so I know nothing new. The dog pound, awesome page, well said. Thank you. I recently witnessed three young boys, 20s to 30s, fist fighting. It started out verbally and escalated. All were edging each other on. A little girl was watching. I feared for the little girl, so I called LE. Well done, Barney. Well done. Without a doubt. Marianne says, I just feel like someone could have helped save him. You know, I would say I agree with you, Marianne. I agree with you 100%. Um, but, it just seemed like everybody was drinking there. Like that was the whole thing. When they talked to that Javon Williams on TMC, they did, or um, TMZ, they did say that there was about 100 people and several others that lived in that area. So it's very possible. You would think somebody would have done something. Then again, maybe they didn't because he became unalive. I don't know. I really, truly don't know. That's just speculation. That girl must be beside herself. Me to Marianne Page. Thanks, Barney. Good job. Very interesting, everybody. Really good points, everybody. Good takes. Very good opinions. Hey, me too, Marianne Page. Thanks, Barney. Great job. April, how did that girl know he had the keys and why was she at the guy's house? In my biggest question after hearing the mother's interview. Interesting because, yeah, I mean, she probably was either a boyfriend of this kid or she was friends with this kid, and she probably just saw the keys on the countertop and she said, these are Nolan's keys. And yeah, I don't know. Those are good questions, everybody. Those are very, very good questions. Per pay says Dap Dog, Marianne, but then in today's world, a lot of people are afraid to say anything. Yeah, look at Nancy Guthrie's case. That's been going on for a day and a half. I mean, literally, figuratively, that's been going on for about 5+ months. So there's no reason for that at all. Pay says, "Where's Brenda? And is she okay?" Yeah, I seen her the other day. Talked to her. She's fine. I think she's dealing with a lot of taking care of the grandkids. And I thought that's what she had said. Paige says, except Marianne. This is very, very interesting. Good topic, everybody. Good communication, good conversation. I mean, you guys got a lot of good theories and ideas, suggestions, possibilities. Click that like, everybody. Subscribe if you are not a subscriber. Become a member if you are a subscriber. Be a devil pup in the channel. Where's Brenda? Is she okay? I think so. Paige, except me, Marianne. Click that like, everybody. Oleg, is there any more news on the 16 children? The only thing that I've been seeing on the 16 children, Oleg, is the fact that literally, um, the House of Horrors, as this is what it's known now. In this case, it's known as the House of Horrors. Horrors, HORROS. HORRORS. But in that case, the only new thing that's coming out here lately has been the fact that, people are asking, was she just naive? Meaning the mother, Elizabeth, was she naive? Was she more um, a victim herself? There's been a lot of talk about what role did she really play in, or was she kind of like the children? Was she just a captive person that was a victim? There's a lot of things going on about that. The dad has been released, as we discussed before. He's on ankle monitor. He had slipped and fell, got hurt. They were going to charge a lot of money to treat him because the where he got hurt was in custody, so therefore they're responsible for him. So there was a lot of talk in that aspect. There was a lot of things mentioned. If I think the real big person that's gonna, oh, that was the other thing. There was the talk of, are all these people, the grandmother, the grandfather, Elizabeth, and Gary Sider Jr., are they even competent of standing trial? That was even talked about. Like these people are a few fries short of a happy meal, I guess is the nicest way to put it. April, the parent interview was what was has me going. The girl, they talked about giving them the info. Paige, all my life I was afraid to be myself anymore. I say what I feel. Let's see what I missed up here. Barney said, I saw Brenda last night. Gene, just curious, where did these kids go to school? I'm not, from my understanding, none of those kids went to school. That's why a lot of them could read or write, could say their names, could even hardly speak. A lot of them never went to school. They didn't send their kids to school. They basically kept them sheltered from everything I have read. So, yeah, there's not going to be a school affiliated with these individuals, these young kids. Crime in itself, in my opinion. Agree, Marianne. True. People don't want to get involved. Hell, they'll wind up in court themselves. Barney, I saw Brenda last night. Jean, just curious. Bridget, no page. Don't be alive. April, the parents' interview was what was has me going. The girl, they talked about giving them the info. Totally understandable. Marianne, that's true, Virginia. Paige, All life I was afraid to be myself. Not anymore. I say what I feel. Oleg in the it's the generation of whores, in my opinion. Yes, without a doubt. Well said, Oleg. Virginia. In the 16 children's case, Mama Elizabeth is pregnant. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. She is pregnant again. Yes, well said. Thank you, Oleg. Yes, the mom is pregnant again, now with the 19th child. Yeah, you can't make this stuff. And I wonder if because of that, are they going to give her an ankle monitor too, rather than keeping her in jail while she's pregnant? That's interesting. I forgot about that. Good job pointing that out. Thank you, Virginia. Paige, Oleg, I saw a headline that indicted the mother was also a victim. Yes, I did read that. Absolutely, Paige. Oleg, they are victims in the family. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just sad situation. Paige, to rephrase that, the headline posed the question if she is also a victim. Yes, that was what was asked, being asked, was she a victim? Were they all able to be, are they all competent to stand trial? You know, um, even talking as much as trying to, for a better lack of words, let the husband take the fall because everything stopped with him. He was like the one that I guess for a better lack of words kept everything going. Oleg, they are victims in the family. Pays to rephrase that. Virginia, kids didn't go to school. No, not at all. None of them went to school. Bridget, okay. Page, Oleg, generation of whores. Yes. Page, kids never went outside. Yeah, they were confined a lot to the house. A 12 by 12 room is what they were confined in. That's why it was all messy with feces and just nasty. Oleg, I have come across two Gary Seidner seniors, and the two Gary Seidner seniors both born on the month apart in each other, but all records points to just one of them or both. But one of them are senior Gary Siders died June 26th. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that, Oleg. Kim Page, you are safe here. I am still here. Barney, what he has released, I don't know. Care if not got hurt. He deserves to be in jail. This point, just my opinion. Well said, Barney. Barney, was it what he was releasing? I don't what he was released. I don't care if he got hurt. He deserves to be in jail. This point, just my opinion. Good point, Barney. Good point. Pays, thanks. Oleg, that dap dog, Marianne, Didi, did you get emails from me? Let me check. I do not remember, Marianne, but let me check. As I would say here. No, Marianne, I didn't get anything from you. I didn't get anything from you. Yeah, I didn't get anything, Marianne. Paige, oh my God, pregnant again. Yeah, she's pregnant again with her 19th. Pam, I can understand how no one of the neighbors didn't hear the kids and didn't know they had kids. At some time, those kids had to have screamed or were taken allowed to say should have heard them without a doubt. Without a doubt. Good point. Good point. Oleg, thoughts on the generations the family has liked to propagate. KB, kids that are spoken to learn how to speak. Barney, the state doesn't want to be liable for case, in my opinion. KB, I think they were kept in the room like animals. I mean, even the sheriff says something load him better. I can't think of his name. Something, something loan and better. The sheriff, he said that his stock is taken more and treated more cleanly and provided a cleaner, basically saying that his stock is taken care of better than what these kids were. His stock of animals. Virginia, yes, Elizabeth will be released. Her attorney will make sure of that. She's a victim, he says. I could see that's what they're pushing for. Page, Virginia, April, the lady at the drugstore did say she thought he controlled her around the store. He did say something about he would put his hand on her elbow and kind of like direct her where to go until it was ready to pay. Then he would let her go and let her go make her pay and step outside of the store. Yes, that was said. Paige, good point, Pam, but looks like the house was a distance from her house. I don't know. Oleg, back in the day, the grandmother Eugene killed his two children, 8 and 10, DUIs accident. Then officer at the scene said it looked like it's been there a while. Interesting. Interesting. That was interesting. The lady at the dollar store did say she thought he controlled her on the store page. Good point, Pam. But looks like the house was a distance from her house. I don't know. Ole, back to the day, the grandfather Eugene killed his two children, 8 and 10, in a DUI accident. The officer at the scene said it looked like they've been in plane crash, not auto accident. Hey, there's probably hundreds of other similar situations we don't know about at and this was stumbled upon by chance. Well said, Paige. And a lot of them, that's how they are covered and stumbled upon. It's literally by chance, right place, right time, without a doubt. Well, thanks, Oleg. Jim, most of them might be nonverbal. Marianne, okay, I will send them. I have to check their email address. You got it, Marianne. Thank you. Oleg, further back, another two members lost two children of starvation. This were back in 1940s. Pays, rest in peace, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. Did Mitch McConnell pass away? I know Lindsey Graham passed away last night at the age of 71. Okay, thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Wasn't sure. There is my email, everybody. April just posted my email. Click that like and share, everybody. Let's get it. Let's send the algorithm, send the hearts, send some memberships if you want to support some of our subscribers. And please share the stream on other lives. We are growing. We are definitely growing. Page, know their own names. Some of the kids didn't know their own names. Yeah, they couldn't spell them or anything. Dog, please read my comments as written. You keep fumbling every one of my comments for weeks now. Oh, let's not get testy, Paige. I didn't mean to. If I did, there's probably hundreds of other similar situations we don't know about, and this was stumbled upon by chance. I read that one. Wow, thanks, Oleg. I read that one. Further back, another two family members lost two children of starvation. This was back in the 1940s. I read that one. Rest in peace, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. I read that one. Some of the kids didn't know their own names. I read that one. Doug, please read my comments. Okay. I will try to do better, Paige. My apologies. Marianne, thank you, April. Mitch McConnell didn't pass away yet, still hospitalized. Pam, thank you for the gift. Appreciate you. Paige, okay, Jim, prayers. Paige, I heard different, but why we shall see. Oleg, it is really sad family history. Paige, Jim, thank you, DD, for your lives. You're very welcome, Jim. Thank you for your attention and being here. April Page, he is reading and responding the best he can. He has been at almost 2 hours. Oleg, they must have had internet, as Elizabeth has 5 email addresses. Oh, wow. And 6 mobile phone numbers. So how backward are they? It's not adding up. Wow, like that does speak volume. They must have had internet, as Elizabeth has 5 email addresses and 6 mobile phones numbers. So how backward are they? Not that backward at all. Like, no doubt. Well said. Thank you for that info. Appreciate that. Pam, Sam Party has for 20 Jules. Thank you so much, Pam. Appreciate you. Oleg, if the print is small on chat, DD, just enlarge it on browser, 3 dots at the top of screen. It's how I have to read it. You got it, Oleg. Honestly, I thought I was doing fine, but okay, my bad. KB, I saw a family once where the dad led the mom and the 2 kids were led around by the back of their shirt. It looked odd, but I didn't report it. Wonder if it's similar situation. Very possible, KB. Marnie, even if I ended up wrong, I would have informed Ellie of this couple due to him holding her by the elbow. This is a suspicious behavior. Well said, Barney. Jim, you're doing great, DD. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you. 857, great work, DD. 88, love your show. Thank you so much, Tucson. Please share our lives to your people as well. Thank you so much. Much appreciation, and thank you for being here, 857 Tucson. Always support your channel, my friend. Oleg, see something, say something always. Without a doubt, everybody. If you see something, that's the rule of thumb. Say something. Even if you're wrong, it's okay, because maybe one day you're right, and that could save someone's life without a doubt. Page 857 with the dab dog. Carol Burton, hello, 857. Jim, 857. Oleg, I will send you the newspaper clippings I have got so far, Oleg. Gene, 857, love. Page, people don't want to get involved, so they turn their head instead of helping, in my opinion. Very true, Page. Marianne, hello, 857. Virginia, hello, 857. Very loved here on our channel, 857. Appreciate everything you do and for all the work you put out and effort. Thank you so much, my friend. Semper Fi, my brother. Marianne, hello, 857. Miss Barney, 857, love and respect you, sir. Pam, Didi, you are doing good. I don't know how you read everyone's comments. Some I can't read well because my eyesight isn't good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Pam. Paige with the hearts of love. Appreciate you. Pam, hey, 857 Tucson. Trying to grow our channel here, 857. If you can help us out by going ahead and pushing our channel, we would really appreciate it very, very much. Trying to hit that 5,000 mark. Pam, hey, 857 Tucson. KB, so LE would say, did you see a crime being committed? And when I say no, it just looked odd. They would hang up. Yeah, sometimes law enforcement, it's not really law enforcement, it's really the dispatching. And sometimes the dispatchers have these criterias and these type of things where they have to streamline. They don't have to, but they do. And that's the first thing, because I've heard that before where they would say that, did you see a crime being committed? No. Okay, well, then there's not a crime committed. Bye. And it makes no sense because you're like, well, that's why I'm calling you. It just looks suspicious. But yeah, I don't know. I know that happens, KB. And all I can say is keep putting that word out because one day, you know what? One day it's going to pan out and you're going to save someone's life more than likely. The only reason I finally even mentioned it was because it changes the meaning even when one word is omitted or changed. I'm sorry, you're fine, Paige. Oleg, if the cops had not gone to the home that day for unrelated reasons, those kids would still be there. None would be any the wiser. Poor souls. Very well said, Oleg. Very well said. Totally agree. Barney, Ellie would not dismiss that behavior here. Ellie would quietly check out the situation without making it obvious. Well said, Barney. Well said. Thank you. Appreciate that. Click that like, everybody. Click that like if you're watching, subscribe. And if you're a subscriber, please be a member and be a Devil Pup investigator in the channel. Thank you so much. Click that likes, everybody. Click the hearts and emojis. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. And Oleg had a good point earlier when they mentioned that Elizabeth had 6 phone numbers, had the internet. I mean, how far off could they be? Well, that's true. That is very true. That's something to really think about because that makes a lot of sense. Like when we asked the question, is she competent? That's what a lot of people have been asking. Are those 4 suspects competent? Well, I mean, it's hard to say you're not confident when you have 6 numbers and you have the internet and you have, I think it was it she had some social medias or something? Did you say that, KB? So it makes a lot of sense without a doubt. I totally get that. Well said. Virginia, Page, agree. Awesome, everybody. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Appreciate all of you. Oleg, affording the internet and can't buy food. What's more important? Very, very well said, Oleg. Food. For God's sake. Well said, Oleg. Well said. Paige, thanks, Virginia. There's a lot there, everybody. There's a lot there. I am keeping track of this case, like all the cases that we're covering. I am watching and seeing what news comes out. Once again, we're still haven't heard anything from Johanna Ruth Shields in Carlsbad, California, in reference to her unaliving found in the water. There hasn't been anything back on the toxicology report. Uh, Even Elena Moore up in North Carolina, there hasn't been anything going on there. The Kinney case, we're waiting for toxicology reports there. Tucson, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Tucson just sent a super chat of $4.99. Keep up the great work, DD88. You got it, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the love and support, my friend. And thank you once again for what you do and what you bring to the table. Semper Fi, my brother. Appreciate you. Paige, 857, Tucson. Carol, 857, thank you. Pam, it's everywhere, says Paige. It is okay, Paige. We know what you mean when you comment. Thank you for your comments. We are all here learning and telling our opinions. Annie, back again. Had to go to the store. Good morning, DD and everyone. Good to have you, Annie. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. April 857, thank you for always supporting DD. Amen to that. Barney, she may have had government phones with internet. There was a time that they were doing that. You are right, Barney. I did not think about that. Paige, thanks, Pam. Smiley face, heart, prayers. Tammy Glover, hi 857. I love how you support each other. Thank you so much. Appreciate that comment, Tammy. Oleg, be that nosy neighbor, but don't make it obvious, says Oleg. Well said, well said. Paige, welcome back, Annie. So, yeah, everybody, you get a chance, pass the word out. You guys, I know you guys always go to 857 and watch his channel as well. Support the channel, pass it on. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Paige, Oleg, 100%. 100%. Virginia, oh, bummer phones. Oh, bummer phones. Gotcha. Oh, bummer phones. I get it. Laughing out loud, Virginia. Paige, God help us. Prayers. Amen. That's the thing. The idea of we're try to find what makes sense in a lot of these cases. And, I'll be the first one to tell you that, what I do is just try to configure the information we get. And many times I will go to the opinion, because that's how you're able to try to separate all the noise and distractions, and there's nothing wrong with that. We just obviously, I just don't want to make any factual points when there's not any validity to what we're saying. But in these cases, I mean, I tell you, we really think outside the box. We really try to figure out what is happening or what could have happened. And there's nothing wrong with that, because here's the thing: sooner or later, we're going to hear something that's going to make something click, and that's when you're going to know the aha moment. Yep, we got it. We know exactly. We were there. We were talking about that scenario. You know what I mean? See where we're at. April, keep chat kind and respectful. Friendly reminder. Thank you, April. KB, you are now a habit like my coffee. LOL. Thank you, KB. It's awesome to have all of you. You guys are all amazing. Thanks, April. With the heart, with the red heart. Paige, dogs, thank you so much. Appreciate you. So I guess the other thing is this case, we're just going to have to stay on top of it and try to figure out, you know, what's going on. And not just this case, but even the case with the Nolan Wells. I mean, there's a lot there, and we need to really try to catch some news because channel we always pass information to each other, and that's how we learn. That's how we figure things out. I'll be honest, I can't always watch everything, and neither can you all, but together we can totally understand exactly what's happening if we keep each other informed. Oleg said it's a learned way of survival for the parents passed down. That's pretty true. Yeah, I would agree with that, Oleg. Well said. Barney, brainstorming without a doubt, Barney. Well said. Paige, I still want you to skip my emojis, dog. I expect perfection. Laughing, I expect perfection. The exclamation points times two with the laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. Kidding. I know you are, Paige. Simplify. April, all opinions are welcome here. You are all appreciated without a doubt. You guys make this channel, everybody. You guys make the channel. I am just a mouthpiece, but you guys are the ones that literally ask the right questions, get the answers, and then you also go ahead and figure out sleuthing, trying to investigate what is happening. And so I appreciate every one of you. KB, put up a little sign that says, for entertainment purposes, all opinions given here are just opinions. Then you can talk about everything, just a thought. You got it, KB. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I will have my worker bee here set that up as soon as possible. Thank you so much. I actually like that I'm going to take a picture of it because I want to see exactly how it sounds. Thank you so much, KB. Appreciate it. Marianne, yes, they are. April. Oleg, not a lot of them ever went to, none of them, I think, went to school. Oleg, I don't think any of their kids, I don't know about the parents, but I know the kids, they said none of them went to school, to my understanding. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what I read. Annie, thank you. I'm making meatballs. Oh God, you're making me hungry. Now you're making me hungry, Oleg. Or Annie, I'm sorry. Oleg, not the presence one, although the generations. Got you. Well said. Well said. Barney, I shall be waiting for meatballs. Bring me my own fork. Amen. April. KB, thank you for supporting DD. You got it. No doubt about it, KB. Appreciate you much. Appreciate all of you, every one of you. Well said, April. Paige, with the dinner plate and the hungry emojis. Happy. All right, everybody. We are at that point. Let's go ahead and end this live. We will come back at 5, try to figure some stuff out, and hopefully we can gather some more information and go from there. So we'll come back at 5 o'clock. Once again, I just want to say thank you, everybody. All of you guys are special, and you guys all do great things. I appreciate everyone. Virginia, you're correct. Kids never went to school. Thank you, Virginia. Annie, Miss Barney, if you lived by me, you would be more than welcome. Awesome, Annie. Paige, KB with the chat marks. Carol, have a great and blessed day, everyone. Prayers. Everybody, we'll be back at 5 o'clock. I'll try to have something else for you all. Carol, have a great and blessed day, everyone. Barney, if I get energetic, I will be making French bread pizza. Man, now that's good. Pizza, I tell you what, I can eat pizza all day long. 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. Just letting you all know. Annie, you too, Carol, Pam. God bless everyone. Have a great afternoon. Like I always say, everybody, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. You know why? Because it's all common sense, everybody. It's all common sense. Semper Vi, everybody. God bless you all. Thank you so much, Dog and Chad. Prayers, you got it. Paige, Carol, thanks, Annie. Virginia, later, everyone. Annie, Miss Marnie, that sounds good to me. Pam, God bless everyone and have a great afternoon. You too, Carol. April, thank you all for being here. Thank you, April. Appreciate you always. Oleg, see you tonight. You got it. Talk to you all later. God bless and Semper Fi.